Hello there. Welcome on in. Yeah, of course, sit down, relax. I assume you are here for the exam of sorts. Right. Could you just confirm your name for me? Yes. You are in the right place. So, today we are doing a bit of a psychological exam that will rely on some questions for you to answer. This is not a test per se. It's more of a survey for your age group and things of that nature. So some of these questions will relate to psychological topics or mental health, your life, things of that nature. But just keep in mind you are not being graded on this. It's just for our research and this particular survey. Okay? Do you have any questions for me before we begin? Okay. Well, I'm going to start by filling out a couple forms, if you don't mind, and then I will move to the following bit will be done on the computer. Okay. Perfect. Please keep in mind there's no right or wrong answer. Okay, so you told me your name. Yes. And what about your date of birth? And what year is that? And your address? Current address is best. Okay. And that is this state. What about your phone number? Is that a cell phone? Okay. Email address? And how were you referred to us? How did you find out about this study? Okay, I'm going to go into some more personalized questions. If you could just confirm the gender that you identify with. Okay. And a brief medical history. You don't have to really give me everything, but is there any conditions that we should know about? When were you diagnosed with that? And what about any medications? Do you take any medications for that particular condition? Do you take any other medications? Okay. Alright. And are those daily meds? What about vitamins? Do you take any sort of vitamins? Any recreational drug use? Are you a smoker? Do you drink alcohol, and if so, how often would you say? And what about caffeine? Do you consume caffeine? If so, how often? How much? Now, is that coffee, soda, some teas have caffeine? I know energy drinks are pretty popular. Okay. And what about water? How much water do you drink a day? Okay. And exercise. Do you exercise at all? Weekly? How often would you say you exercise? That can be any form of exercise. Okay. Would you say that you have a balanced diet or a more healthy diet? Okay. And are you on any sort of specific diet? Are you following any sort of, what's popular these days, keto or WW or any of those? Okay. What about family history? Once again, I don't need a full life story of your family, but any sort of conditions that run in your family? Okay. Have you ever been hospitalized? Okay. What about surgeries in the last 6 months? Can I ask what your relationship status is? Do you have any children? And who would you call your immediate family? It differs for everyone. Good. Now, what is the status of your job or school? Okay. And how long? Do you have any hobbies? So on average, how much sleep would you say that you get? Okay. Do you need medication to fall asleep? Do you take anything natural like melatonin? Do you have trouble falling asleep? What about trouble staying asleep? Do you wake up multiple times during the night? And how do you feel when you wake up? Are you still tired? Are you wide awake? How do you feel first thing in the morning? Okay. Would you consider yourself to be an anxious person? Would you consider yourself to be a depressed person? Would you consider yourself to be a happy person? Would you consider yourself to be a sad person? Do you find yourself attractive? I know, kind of a weird question. Do you make friends easily? Would you consider yourself to be an extrovert or an introvert? Okay. That's all I needed on this form here. We will switch over to the computer here briefly. Any problem with those questions? No, you did great. Okay, so we're just going to pop this to the side and we're gonna grab my keyboard here. We're just going to be pulling up a couple more questions here. The next set of questions are more of like a rating set of questions, so you have options on how to rate these statements, if you will. Okay, and that's what we're going to do next. Okay. Good. Alright. Alright, so for the first set of questions here, we have the rating system as never, a few times, sometimes, often, or constantly. Okay, so I have some statements here that I'll read, and you just need to tell me never, a few times, sometimes, often, or constantly. Okay. I was very anxious, worried, or scared about a lot of things in my life. I felt that my worry was out of my control. I felt restless, agitated, frantic, or tense. I had trouble sleeping. I could not fall or stay asleep, and or didn't feel well rested when I woke up. Okay, now we go to the ranking system of not at all, mild, moderate, or severe. My heart would skip a beat, was pounding, or my heart rate increased. Yep, this is just on like a regular basis. I was sweating profusely. My hands, legs, or entire body were shaking, trembling, or felt tingly. I had difficulty breathing or swallowing. These are a lot of symptoms that occur during things like anxiety or panic attacks. So once again, we have not at all, mild, moderate, and severe. I have had pain in my chest, almost like I was having a heart attack. I felt sick to my stomach, like I was going to throw up or had diarrhea. I felt dizzy, my head was spinning, or I felt like I was going to faint. I had cold or hot flashes. I was scared that I would lose control, go crazy, or die. Now, how frequently have you experienced a panic attack in the last 6 months? Several times a day, once or twice a day, a few times a week, less than a few times a week, or never? Have you purposely avoided situations or activities in which you might experience a panic attack? So the next set of questions are relating to if you have ever experienced anything traumatic, okay, and basically how you reacted to that. Skip that. Great, moving on. These are just yes or no questions. Okay. So you sometimes are haunted by memories or flashbacks or even nightmares. You sometimes feel like you have trust humanity or even yourself. You frequently fear guilt, shame. You have lost interest in activities that you used to enjoy. You can sometimes become irritable or enraged because of minor issues. And yes or no once again, have you ever become reckless or took unnecessary risks? And in turn, have you ever become excessively vigilant, tense, or on guard? Have you had trouble focusing, concentrating, or remembering things? You purposely avoided anything that may remind you of particular events. Are you unable to feel happiness, contentment, joy, or love? Then not at all, mild, moderate, and severe. Okay. Okay. Have you frequently felt sad, like you couldn't go on in the last month? Have you stopped having fun at doing things that you used to enjoy in the last month? Have you lost or gained weight without trying to, or your appetite has changed in the last month? Have you felt slowed down compared to your usual pace in the last month? In the past year, have you felt exhausted? Have you felt worthless or guilty? Have you felt a sadness that has made it difficult to function? And in turn, have you felt bursts of happiness? Alright, let's see. recently have you experienced an unusual elevated mood where you may be extremely energetic or just fun and lighthearted? Have you had any sudden bursts of confidence lately? Have you had periods of time when you get little to no sleep? Alright. Have you, let's see, your mind was flooded with thoughts and you've talked more faster than you usually would? Okay, any of these symptoms that you've had in the last year, so not at all mild, moderate, or severe. You've started tackling multiple goals, activities at once. You've jumped to one interest to another. You've gotten involved in fun things that in hindsight could have had negative consequences. You have extreme mood swings from depression or other related symptoms. Good. Okay, we already talked about your alcohol use, drug use. Okay. Good. Okay. Alright. So the last bit of this study, if you will, is going to be something called the Cube test. I'm sure that you've potentially heard about it. It's actually gaining quite a lot of popularity, and I'm just going to have you imagine some things in your mind, and we're going to make note of those things. And as you imagine those things, it can kind of have certain or specific meanings. Okay? Okay, good. Alrighty. So, I want you to just sit back and relax. If you need to, you can close your eyes. You can kind of drift away and just use your imagination for what images you're going to be seeing. Okay. Alright. To begin, I would like you to think of an open field. There is no right or wrong answer. Now, how big is this field? What is it filled with? Are you able to see its surroundings? Now, I would like you to think of a cube within that field. How big is the cube? What's the cube made of? What is the surface like? What color is it? Where is it within that field? Could be sitting on the ground, it could be floating. Can you see inside the cube? Next up, I'd like you to imagine a horse. What color is the horse? What is the horse doing, and where is it in relation to the cube? Just let that sit in your mind, that field, the cube, and the horse. I would now like you to imagine a ladder. How long is the ladder? Where is it located in that field? What is the distance between the ladder and that cube? Next up, I would like you to think of some flowers. Where are the flowers in your field? How many are there? What color are they? Now, think about what the particular weather is like in this field of yours. Okay? So, is it raining? Is it sunny? Is it foggy? What is the weather like in your field? Okay, and then lastly, in your field, I want you to think of a storm. Now, what is the distance between the storm and the cube? And is it a big storm? Does it have a lot going on? Or is it just passing on by? Okay. Alright, so have your notes here. You can open your eyes if you like. Okay. So we're going to read some details here of what your cube test could reveal about yourself, okay? The field. The field represents your mind. Its size is the representation of knowledge of the world and how vast your personality is. The condition of the field, whether it be dry, grassy, or well trimmed, is what your personality looks like at first glance. So, for example, a dry and dead field, you are feeling pessimistic. Grassy and healthy, you are feeling optimistic. Well trimmed, you are analytical and cautious. Now the cube. The cube represents you. The size of the cube is your ego. The surface of the cube represents what is visibly observable about your personality, or maybe is what you want others to think about you. The texture of the cube, whether it be smooth, rough, bumpy, or whatever, represents your nature. So, if it's smooth, you are a gentle person who takes care not to hurt others or make them feel uncomfortable. If it is a rough surface, you are more straightforward. You tend to be honest in everything you say, no matter how it might affect the person that you are talking to. If it's bumpy or spiky, you have a tendency to criticize others in an attempt to make them feel inferior to yourself. Now, the color of your cube is a more in-depth analysis of yourself. Each color can represent an emotion or an entire personality altogether. So these are the most common colors. Red, you are physically active and enjoy rich sensory experiences. Yellow, you are sociable and cherish your individuality. Blue, you are intelligent and respect others' ideals. Violet, you are intelligent and a bit of a perfectionist. You are also very mysterious. Gray, you are self-confident, independent, and not easily rattled. Black, you have a strong sense of individuality and independence, and you put high value on alone time. White, you are kind, independent, and self-reliant. So other particular cube characteristics that may relate. A cube with a transparent surface means you tend to let others know how you feel on the inside. You are confident enough to show your inner thoughts, and you are deeply sincere. You know that you are good inside, and guess what? It shows. That's what most people see in you as well. the cube was made of water or ice, it can indicate that you let external elements influence you completely. Your personality is sensitive to social pressure, relationships, and other environmental factors. A hollow cube means that you are primarily concerned with your outside appearance, with far less care for what's going on within. However, this does not mean that you have nothing to offer on the inside. A cube made out of metal or rock indicates that you have a solid integrity. Your personality is so strong that it cannot be bent or influenced by external forces. You are dominant and consistent. Now we go to the horse. The horse represents your ideal partner. It could be playing, running around, or grazing next to the cube or in the clear grass. Alright, so the horse's activity. If it's playing, your ideal partner doesn't take life too seriously and or gets bogged down by little stuff. If it's running, your ideal partner will respect your space and give you alone time that you crave. If it's sleeping or grazing, your ideal partner is calm and fully committed to you. The horse's colors. If it was brown, then you prize comfort above anything else. Otherwise, you don't have a specific set of expectations for your partner. Black. Your ideal partner is dominant, seductive, and sophisticated. White. You value loyalty and trust more than anything else in a relationship. Now to the ladder. The ladder represents two different aspects of your life, your goals and your friendships. First, let's look at the ladder says about your goals. If it is a short ladder, your goals are realistic and simple. If it's a long ladder, your goals are more far-fetched and difficult to attain. The ladder's distance. If it's near, you are putting maximum effort into the focus into achieving your goals. And if it's far away, you aren't putting much thought or effort into achieving those particular goals. Now, the location of the ladder and the material can also tell us a little bit about your friendships. Alright, the closer the ladder is to the cube, the stronger the ladder is, the better it is for your friendship. So, if the ladder is near to the cube, if your ladder is near the cube, you are very close with your friends. If it's actually leaning on the cube, it means your friends can lean on you for support. If it's far away, you have a hard time opening up to people and letting them get close to you. If it's a strong material, the stronger the material, the stronger the bond. So that could be stone, metal, things of that nature. If it's a weaker material, a weak ladder indicates a weak bond between you and those around you. Your flowers. The flowers represent your family and friends. The number of flowers reflects your popularity, and their location indicates how close you are with your social groups. Just a few flowers, you are close with your family and have a small, tight-knit group of friends. They're everywhere. Your social butterfly with family and friends too numerous to count. You'll never be lonely. The weather conditions. The weather in your field reflects your general outlook on life. There's a reason we have an expression like, when it rains, it pours. If it's rain, rain symbolizes the problems in your life. The harder the rain, the bigger the problems. Fog. You feel uncertain in your life and may be struggling with your identity. Wind. Though you tend to worry about future issues, you generally don't let them get to you for too long. Sun. You are optimistic and carefree. And the storm. The strength and position of the storm reflects the stress you're feeling in life. As you probably guessed, the stronger the storm, the closer to the cube, the higher your stress level. If you imagined a storm reaching right above your cube, it might be a good idea to work on reducing stress daily in your life. So, storm intensity. Mild, just passing through. While you aren't immune to stress, you know that all things must pass. strong in the eye of the storm. When you stress, you go all in and have a very hard time pulling yourself out again. If it's in the background, any obstacles that you might be causing you grief are not at the forefront of your mind. You are good at managing your anxiety. It's right above your cube. You are deeply affected by stress and have a hard time seeing past it and get back to the bigger picture. Okay, so let me just make note of your cube results. Alright, so that is all I needed from you. You're all set. I do greatly appreciate you coming in and answering these questions and doing this little study with us. Did you enjoy that? Good. Okay, perfect. Well, be sure to grab yourself some of the goodies on the way out. Okay, perfect. Thank you again. It was lovely to meet you. Have a great day.